this extended slow pace of life was back in autumn 2012. And when I count back, that's about 8 years ago. And I've since realised several things. So, one, I was extremely tired, like bone deep tired. Two, the way I interact with God has dramatically changed in the last 8 years. And instead of being excited to meet with God each day, I'm living in some sort of firefighting mode where God has been squeezed to the margins of my life. And three, that the last completely stress-free, switched-off holiday that I had was probably summer of 2012. So, toxic living, not good. Not for me, anyway. As a church, we'd just begun to explore God's mandate on the Sabbath in the Ten Commandments, and I'd been feeling really excited about the prospect of looking at and discussing that with my partnership group and shaking up my routine and coming back to more healthy ways of living. So one of the bonuses of this period of time is that I'm able to have a bit of a book club moment with one of my besties. And I must confess, it feels really decadent to be reading and having biblical debates and discussions and times of prayer in the middle of what should be a work day. But this has been a great blessing for me. So we're reading a book called Renovation of the Heart by a guy called Dallas Willard. I'd love to be able to show you the cover, but it's currently part of what's propping up all of this malarkey. But early on in the book, he identifies that as church, as a global church, we need to get back to God's principles and absolutes rather than that was a bit of a tongue twister, rather than continuing to debate our differences. And interestingly, we'd both been mulling over what that might be, what that meant, these absolutes and principles, and we both came up with Sabbath as one of them. She from a position of having paused her crazy life and providing end-of-life care for her mum, and me on the other end of the crazy spectrum. And the ideal of Sabbath challenged us both. In Matt's notes, he quoted a guy called Alan Redpath, who said that knowing God is the end goal of Sabbath. And I find that I'm hungering for that. That I've been hungering for that for the last 8 years, it seems, because there's like a void in my life. But time has been my real enemy. So I've got lots of things to think through about what my week-to-week Sabbath will look like in more normal times. But one of the things I've realised right now is that I feel I've been granted an extended Sabbath, and I'm grasping it with 2 hands. And I'm using it to pray more, to be still and to listen more to God and to others, to read my Bible and to take time to engage with it, rather than consigning it to a sort of tick list thing that I've got to do before I can move through the rest of my day. To cook well, which is my way of being creative. To walk by the sea and to revel in God's creation. To sit with my windows open and to listen to the sounds of life outside of it. To breathe deeply and slowly. To complete a thought. To go slowly. To stop. Like full stop. And there's a poem by someone called Kitty O'Meara that's doing the rounds on the socials at the moment, and it's been resonating strongly with me over the last few weeks. And it's one of the things that I would love for me and for the world at large as we emerge from this. So I'd like to read that poem to you and then to end with a prayer. Here goes. And the people stayed home and read books and listened and related and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows, and the people began to think differently. And the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed. My prayer for us today, and especially those of us that have the luxury of more time in a safe space, is that we would embrace this time of extended Sabbath, that we would seek to be still and hear God's voice, that we would find new ways of being that involve God being at the forefront of all we think, do and say. And that we embed wholesome and holy practices into our everyday lives that allow us and the earth to be restored day by day, week by week, month by month. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And if you don't know what that means, Google it. Have a great day.